Good afternoon. We're glad to welcome you to our SAP Tech Talks webinar. A few words regarding the event organization. The webinar will be recorded and then posted on our YouTube channel. You may ask all your questions in the Q&A field. At the end of the event, our speakers will answer all of them and choose the best question, the author of which will get a prize from our community. Today's speakers are Aleksandra Pobegailo and Dmitrii Chigvintsev, and the topic of their webinar is Modernizing Billing and Revenue Management, SAP BRIM Basics. I give the floor to our speakers.
Yeah, hello everyone. Let me share my presentation. Okay, so yeah, as Anna mentioned, so today we will mostly discuss about the BRIM solution. And our speakers for today, my name is Dmitrii Chigvintsev. I'm a SAP Finance Architect. I have more than 12 years experience of working with SAP solution. And together with me today, Aleksandra Pobegailo. She is a lead technical consultant, and also she has more than 9 years experience of SAP solutions. Our agenda for today. We have three blocks and the Q&A in the end. So the first block is a solution overview where we will mostly discuss the product capabilities and the prerequisites, why this product was built. And during the business process step, we will discuss the standard process in the BRIM solution. And here you can compare the standard process with your current processes or processes of your clients. After that, Alexandra will guide us through technical configuration, where you will be able to see the different deployment options and integration capabilities. And finally, we will be glad to answer your questions during the Q&A session. Okay, but before we move to discussing the BRIM, let's first talk what were the prerequisites for the creation of the product. So the first of all, the sales cycles has greatly accelerated, which impose additional requirements on the business in terms of the service delivery. The business is forced to become more digital in order to support customer preferences. And also the business acceleration provide less time for analyzing result and making management decision, which increase the requirements for the reporting and for the transparency of the business processes. And also to provide the great flexibility in the service delivery, companies are offering new monetization methods such as subscription and usage-based billing, which also require adaptation to the billing methods. And all of these changes for sure create new challenges for the industry in general. So let's see what challenges we have right now. So the first one is a business model design and pricing configuration. So the traditional pricing and monetization models can be too rigid. In digital economy, monetization must be more flexible and provide more opportunities to client, but at the same time this flexibility makes it harder to maintain the processes not only from the business point of view but also from the IT point of view. The second challenge is the customer and partner contract management. So subscription, usage, and consumption-based models are executed on the basis on contracts that specify what services the customer is subscribed. And these contracts are very likely to change over the lifetime with different kind of the prolongations, add-ons, removals, etc. And being able to manage these changes and track the differences, different version of a contract across the past, present, and future can be very challenging. Okay, so the next one is the usage metering and transaction pricing. Usage and consumption-based models often lead to large amounts of the transactional data. This can lead to a technical challenges to manage the data and transaction volumes, as well as business challenges such as revenue reporting, auditing, and accruals. So from the technical point of view, it's also very complicated to proceed such large amount of the data. So the next challenge is automation of B2B and B2C billing, invoicing, and account receivables. So existing accounts receivables and accounts payable process can also be challenging in the transition to the digital business models, because companies who currently use the traditional processes often use the services of the third-party distributors, and moving to the digital world, they will contact to their clients directly. And this significantly increased the number of accounts payables and accounts receivables. So in addition to the business challenges here, this will also be challenging for the system, which were not designed for such amount of the data. Okay, and the final one, it's a partner revenue share. So one of the biggest challenge in general in the digital sales is the emergence of platforms. So platforms significantly change the process of managing receivables and payables, payment processes, as well as revenue recognition processes, including partner revenue. Yeah, and systems used for the traditional processes are often not ready for such changes. Yeah. So this was about the prerequisites. So what prerequisites we have. So now let's see how the BRIM solution can support us to cover these challenges. And we will start with a very high level product description. So the first block we would like to discuss here is a solution, quote, and order. So BRIM provides the ability to manage a variety of products from the physical products to digital products and subscriptions. Also, BRIM has a high integration potential. Yeah, we will discuss this a little bit later. Yeah, and contracts. Okay, so the next one is a contract and subscription lifecycle management. So BRIM allows you to maintain various type of subscription depending on the needs of your business, and also will provide the opportunity how to manage already existing subscriptions, like a different type of actions like a withdrawal, cancellation of the subscription, prolongation of subscription. So all the steps you can do here. So the second step is a usage collection. So for the subscription, there is a usage-based approach is used. Yeah, so BRIM provide a wide range of options for the collecting information, for the calculation of the price. So regarding to the usage collection, we also discuss it a little bit later. So it's a very powerful engine what we have here in the BRIM. So the next one is the rating, charging, and pre-billing. So based on the type of subscription, system allows you to calculate the price of the subscription as well as calculate partner revenue. So what kind of the subscription we have, yeah, we also will discuss in detail, but a little bit later. So the next step, billing, invoicing, and payment. So for sure, BRIM allow to generate the billing items. Based on the billing items, we can generate the invoices, and we can track the status of the payments. And also there is a standard integration with dispute and collection management, for example, for some problematic cases where for some reason our clients didn't pay us. And in the end, here we have the finance. As a result of the work, we will receive the accounting postings, and this accounting posting will be associated with the billing items and orders. So that will provide your flexibility and transparency across all the processes. So you will be easily understand from where we receive this accounting posting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the use cases what we have in BRIM. So there are fairly large number of cases for using BRIM. The most famous cases, the sales of the digital products and subscription, as well as the usage-based cases, for example, tolling. Yeah, so when the amount is calculated from the distance travel along the road. Yeah, or for example, telecom companies where the calculation is made depending on the number of services used. But there are also rare cases, such as processing of the bonus cards, or managing cashbacks, or loyalty program in general. So all these cases have in common complex pricing system and large amount of the data. Yeah. So, and based on that, we can describe capabilities of BRIM product. Yeah. So first of all, BRIM provide you an opportunity to innovate your business models so that you can deliver a better end customer experience. Also, BRIM provide you an opportunity to use monetize subscription and usage-based services in real time. Yeah, using BRIM, you can share revenues with your partners of your business network. Yeah, so and BRIM calculate automatically these partners part of the share. Yeah, and finally, using the BRIM solution, we can streamline high volume revenue management processes. Yeah, because as we already discussed before, system which was built for the traditional processes sometimes just can't run such big number of data. Yeah. Okay, so now, yeah, when we understand the capabilities of the product in general, let's look in details how the process looks like. So what the object we have in the BRIM. And again, let's start from the very high level picture. So here we have like a steps and blocks what we have from the process point of view in the BRIM. So the first step is a business configuration step. So here we can set up a market, for example, where the products will be published, or we can create the units of measure for the usage-based use cases. So for example, if you talk about the tolling, measure for us will be miles or kilometers. So if you talk about the telecom company, it could be minutes, for example, if you talk about the phone conversations. So all our business, business requirements and business condition we set up here. So the second one is a product definition step. So here we can create the products and rate plans for the price calculation and billing periods for the recurring subscriptions. Yeah, so here we maintain mostly all our products and subscription, our billing cycles, how we plan to calculate the prices. So all of these steps we can do here. So the third one is a customer data maintenance. So in this step, we mainly differentiate our customers between the individual customers and corporate customers, and it is mostly needed for the taxation reasons. Yeah, and for sure, this doesn't mean that we must create customers directly in the BRIM. Yeah, so for example, if you already use S4HANA or MDG, we can receive the data from those systems, yeah, without any problem. So this is just explanation that this data is really needed and mandatory to run the processes on the BRIM side. Okay, so in the first step, we can specify the subscription and products will come from. Yeah, it can be various services and platforms and marketplaces. So for sure, we can create subscriptions manually in BRIM, but if you talk about the BRIM, we mostly talk about the very large companies. So, and for the very large companies, manual processing, like a manual creation of something, is just not possible because it's a very huge number of data. Yeah, so that's why when we talk about the provisioning and orchestration, we are mostly talk about the receiving subscription from some external systems. Okay, so the next one is subscription management. In subscription management step, we can manage life cycle of our subscription, like a renewal of subscription, deleting of already existing subscription, some kind of snapshots, withdraw, etc. Yeah, so different steps. What can we do with already existing subscriptions? So usage collection and rating step provide you an opportunity to receive the data from the external system for the future price calculation. Yes, already mentioned before. So we have a usage-based subscription. So, and for the usage-based subscription, one of the requirements how to calculate the price, we should receive the data from somewhere. Yeah, like for example, number of miles covered if you talk about the tolling system, or number of minutes spent during the conversation if you talk about the telecommunication companies. So we will discuss how it customized a little bit later. Yeah. So, and last two steps, it's mostly about the integration with finance. Yeah, so first of all, based on the billing item, we can generate the invoices and transfer this data to the accounting system, and also based on the invoices, we can generate the accounting postings, and for sure all payment processes will take place here. Okay, so let's look at the big picture, how all BRIM models work together. So first of all, we have a raw data come from the different system. Yeah, it could be SAP system, for example, SAP SAQ or SAP Commerce, and it could be a non-SAP system, like different kind of the services, application, marketplaces. After this, all this information collected in SAP subscription billing. Yeah, so SAP subscription billing takes care of four central processes. So the first one is a business model design, where we again uh, maintain all our conditions, like all markets, all products, all subscriptions, all pricing models, all these things. So during the subscription capture step, we receive all subscription from the external system. Yeah. During subscription management, we just do some actions for the existing subscription, like a withdraw, prolongation, removal. Usage data. So in order to calculate usage-based charges, usage data is fed into SAP, and based on this data, we can calculate the prices during the subscription monetization step. Yeah, if you talk about the very simple type of subscription, like a one-time fee or recurral fee, so we don't really need the usage data. So the usage data needed only for the usage-based fees. Yeah, so after we calculate the price and generate the billing item, we push them to the accounting system. So in our case, it's a S4HANA cloud system, but it could be S4HANA on-prem or different type of the accounting systems. So here we, based on the billing item, generate the invoices. Based on the invoices, we post accounting entries, and for sure payment processes also takes place here. So this is how this process looks like and how all the modules integrated between each other. So now let's continue with the subscription billing. So the idea why I separate all the modules here, because it's very important to understand that the BRIM solution, it is a combination of modules. Yeah, it's not one single module. So in our case, we will show mostly subscription billing, contingent invoicing, and the contract accounting. So all of these modules integrated between each other, but at the same time, all of them are not mandatory to successfully run the BRIM processes, and I will describe it a little bit more. Yeah, so if you talk about the subscription billing, so the subscription billing main task is to maintain product, especially subscription product, and manage these products through their life cycle, including obtaining of consumption data, price calculation, billing item generation, and pushing of this billing item to the accounting system. So this is the main idea of the subscription billing module. Now let's see in details how it works. So the first object I would like to discuss with you is the rate plan elements. So the rate plan elements determines how the price of the product or subscription will be calculated. So here we have the three different options. So the first one is a one-time fee. Yeah, so this is the easiest one. So we just need to, this means that price is fixed. Yeah, and we will generate the billing item only one time. Yeah, so after our customer buys something. So recurring fee, here the price is also fixed. Yeah, so but also in addition, we need to define the regularity of the generation of the billing item. For example, monthly or quarterly or yearly. Yeah, and the final one is a usage-based fee. So in this case, the price is not fixed. Yeah, and we need to calculate it. And to calculate it, we need to have consumption data, as we already discussed before, and also we need to show the system how to calculate this price. Yeah, so one-time fee and recurring fee, it's a very easy situation. Yeah, we just need to put price here. So for example, here it's a 500, here's a 10 USD. And for the recurring and for the usage-based, we need to maintain the logic. Yeah, so how we plan to calculate the price of our subscription. So for example, here you can see that the price will be calculated at the rate of the $15 per 10 miles traveled. Yeah, so this way system will be able to calculate the invoice amount and the subscription amount without any problems. Yeah. So allowance template is another object that can add flexibility to pricing. So in addition to defining pricing at the rate plan template, we can add an allowance template that provide you opportunity to use a part of usage data for free. Yeah, so for example, in our example, you can see that the 50 road miles are provided free of charge to the customer, free of charge. Yeah, and this object can also be used as a trial period for new clients, for example. Yeah, so there is not strict requirements how to use this object. This is a fully depends on your business. Yeah, so this is actually one of the benefits of the BRIM, that BRIM provides just a lot of the opportunity for your pricing strategy, and you can use all of these objects as you want. Yeah, so it could be like a trial period, it could be the service itself. Yeah, so it fully depends on your business. So the next object is product. So at product level, conditions for digital and subscriptions are defined, and at the product level, rate plans and allowance templates are assigned for the future calculation of the price of the product and subscription. Yeah, so in other words, product is a central object where we link all relevant rate templates and allowance templates for the future price calculation. Yeah. Okay, so let's go next. The next object is the customer. So in the customer master data, we can find the billing information, yeah, as well as the history of the interaction with the customer, previously created billing items, the status of the current subscription, renewal history, and so on. So yeah, again, one more time, I would like to highlight it here that it is not mandatory to create customer directly in the subscription billing. Yeah, so if you already have the SAP S4HANA or MDG system, it would be better to receive this data from those type of the systems. Yeah, but if you talk about the BRIM relevant data, like subscription history and all other things, they will be collected on the customer level directly in the subscription billing. Yeah. So, but customer we can receive from the other systems. Okay, so the next object, and it's actually the main object, is a subscription. Yeah, so the subscription is formed with a specific customer on the basis of the product, and those it contains all necessary conditions for calculating the price and all necessary data for the billing, for the successful generation of the billing item. Yeah, so that means that from the product we take all pricing conditions, and from the customer we take all billing conditions. Yeah, so and this is really important because based on subscription, system automatically generate billing items. Yeah. So and then these billing items are sent to the next module, to the convergent invoicing. But what is very important, because again, I will highlight it one more time. So when we talk about the BRIM, we talk about very large enterprises with a very huge number of data. And for the companies like that, it's just not possible to generate billing items manually or based on the single subscriptions. Yeah, so that's why it's really important that we have all information what we need on the subscription level, and system automatically will generate the billing item based on our billing plan. Yeah, so if you talk about the recurring subscription, that means that the system automatically every month will generate the billing items based on subscription, where we maintain all these regularity settings. Yeah, so that's really important that system will do everything automatically without involvement of the users in this process. Okay, before we, yeah, so the next model in the chain is the convergent invoicing. But before that, I would like to, yeah, also highlight the convergent mediation functionality. So earlier I mentioned that in the case of the usage-based rate plan, we need consumption data to correctly calculate the price of subscription. Yeah, this can be done using the subconvolute mediation. So the idea of this product is to obtain consumption data from the various sources of information in real time, eliminate duplicates, and also, if necessary, enrich the data if you miss something on the source side. So yeah, so this is some kind of the middleware. Yeah, so between the source system from where we can take consumption data, and between the subscription billing where we calculate the prices based on the consumption data. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue with the next model in our chain. It is a convergent invoicing. So subconvergent invoicing is used to aggregate the billing items from various systems. The sources can be both subscription billing we discussed before, yeah, and some kind of non-SAP system. For example, if you talk about e-commerce in general use the marketplaces, and all prices already pre-calculated on the marketplace level. Yeah, so that means that the e-commerce company don't really need to doesn't really need to use the subscription billing, yeah, because all prices are already calculated. They don't really need this strong engine for the price calculation. They just need to process the billing items which was already done on the e-commerce level. Yeah, so that's why in this case we can receive the billing item directly from the marketplaces, not from the subscription billing, and this is absolutely okay from the process perspective. And what we can do with this billing item after that? So subcontract invoicing, yeah, so provide an opportunity to generate the invoices based on the billing item. So it's also determine GL accounts. It's also determine the tax rates, because it's really important for the accounting postings. Yeah, because after subcontract invoicing, we push all the data to the finance modules. So that means that all the data should be predefined for the successfully posting of the accounting entries. So in other words, convergent invoicing, it's like the intermediate stage between the pure sales processes relevant for the subscription billing, and between pure accounting processes relevant for the FICA, for the FI modules. So it's some kind, yeah, intermediate stage between two different processes. Okay, so and the first thing what we want to discuss here, it is a display billable items functionality. So as I already mentioned, so regardless of where the billing items came from, we can analyze them, and we can see them in one single report. Yeah, this report also shows the source of the billing items and the current status of their processing, yeah, as well as information about the client and contract. So it doesn't really matter from where we receive these billing items. Anyway, you'll be able to see all of them here, yeah, in one central report. And for sure, again, it's possible to create the billing items manually here. But yeah, again, so if you talk about the very large enterprises, in the most cases, all manual activities is restricted because of the volume of data. Yeah. So, but anyway, it's possible if it would be cases like that. Okay, so The next step is invoice generation. So based on the billing item we receive, we can generate the invoices. And here we have two different ways how we can do this. We can create the invoice for the separate billing item. Yeah, so and we can create invoices in the mass way. Yeah, if in case if we decide the mass way, so we can set up a grouping criteria how to group several billing items in one single invoice. And this is very beneficial for the customers who have a lot of the data. Yeah, because at the end, before we push this data to the finance, we can aggregate this data. Yeah, so reduce the number of the documents on the finance side. So this is also why the contract invoicing is really beneficial for the customers uh, who have a lot of the transactional data. So, and as I already mentioned before, so also very important step here is account determination and taxation. Yeah, so because if already discussed that this contract invoicing it is some kind of the module between the sales processes and accounting processes. So here we need to determine the accounts and tax codes because it's very important for the posting accounting entries on the accounting system side. Yeah. So, and system can do this automatically here. Okay, and the final module we would like to discuss with you today. So it is a contract accounting. The contract accounting is used as sub-ledger and perform classic receivables management functions such as posting, dunning and collection, payment processing and reconciliation. So it's actually all the functions what we have in our accounts receivables module, the standard FI module. The main objective of SAP contract accounting is to reduce the number of documents that will be posted to the ledger, which is very important for the companies with a large number of the documents. Yeah, so again, we can reduce the number of documents on the contract invoicing side during the moment of aggregation our billing items in one single invoice, but we can do the same thing here. Yeah, so again, after receiving all of these invoices, after posting of GL documents, we again can aggregate the documents after reconciliation with payments. Yeah, so and it will reduce number of documents posted to the GL ledgers again. Yeah, so this is also a really important thing here because we can reduce documents on the two different levels. Yeah, so on the levels of the billing items and the same on the levels of invoice generation. Okay, so one more thing, what can contract accounting provide to us? It is a more powerful logic of matching our invoices and payments. So the system using this account maintenance functionality, the system automatically keeps track on open items on the debit side, yeah, invoices, and open items on the credit side, payments and credit memos, and can automatically clear them with each other based on the specific clearing conditions. And these conditions are free for customizable, yeah, because the business is really different. So, and this is why we can customize it for the different type of the businesses. Uh, this automation is also very important because again, yeah, so if you talk about the BRIM and in particularly about the contract accounting, we talk about the very large companies who have a lot of the number of payments, and it's just not possible to do all of this reconciliation invoices with payments manually. Yeah, so we should to do this automatic, and yes, this acceptance rate, this alignment rate should be as much as possible. Yeah. So another object, another functionality, how we can increase the number of successfully matched payments and invoices is a payment lot. So actually the idea of the payment lot to group together the payments from the bank statements that are to be processed together. Yeah, grouping in payments lots is configurable again. So for example, you can group them by one account or one client or one customer, one contract. Yeah, so yeah, you define it on your side how you plan to configure it. So also at the level of the payment lot, you can track the status of payment clearing with invoices. Yeah, and in case where the payment lot cannot be cleared fully, yeah, so we can, for example, clear some position of this payment lot. Only in these cases, user action will be required. Yeah, so this is the idea to do as much as possible automatically, and only in case when the system failed with recognition of the payment and alignment it with invoices, only in this case we involve users in the process. Okay, so The next functionality, the next step is a correspondence. So the correspondence application component supports you to creating both periodic correspondence and event control correspondence. There are several ways how can we run it. So first of all, in the mass run again, yeah. So when we talk about the contract account, actually everything is a mass run, yeah, because we try to do as much as possible mass processing operations here. So in the mass run, for example, we can generate the invoices, account statements, or the business partner statements, correspondence, and automatically send it to our customers. For example, some actions could be done on demand. Yeah. So, for example, online checks and accounting details. And in connection, and also we have a correspondence which will be generated in connection with other processes, for example, dunnings. If you have the situation when our customer for some reason didn't pay us, system automatically will check it and will send the dunning letter to the customer. Okay, and the last step here and the last functionality what I would like to share with you, it is a transfer records to GL accounts. So as I mentioned earlier, SAP contract account is used as subledger. Yeah, so at the final step, we need to transfer all our postings from the contract accounting to the general ledger. So the data does not go directly to the general ledger at the moment of the invoice posting. Yeah, this is because after processing and reconciliation of the documents on the contract accounting side, it can greatly reduce the number of documents on the general ledger side, yeah, which we will post to the general ledger side. So as well as improve the system performance, yeah, because in case of aggregation of this data, we will need to we will need to post the less number of the documents on the GL side, yeah. So that's why it's also very beneficial, not only from the business point of view, but also from the IT point of view. Yeah, so it reduces the capacity of the databases and it will improve the performance of the system in general. Okay, so we have finished with the solution overview with the business processes. So now Aleksandra will guide us through the technical configuration. So Aleksandra, please, stage is yours.
Thank you, Dmitrii. Hello, everyone. My name is Aleksandra Pobegailo, and I'm a technical consultant, as you might heard already at the beginning. So if after Dmitrii's explanation what BRIM solution is, you want to implement it, but don't know where to start and don't know, like, is your IT landscape is ready for BRIM, this part of our presentation will be exactly for you. So first thing you need to know is that implementation step and the BRIM architecture will be different depending on your landscape you have. The easiest step, I think, it would be if you have the S/4HANA Cloud, because for this you will need only to buy the subscription billing service from SAP, place it in your SAP business technology platform, SAP BTP, and in S/4HANA Cloud, you will need to only activate the few configuration items. So quick, easy, and like almost on the fly. Another, maybe a little bit more complicated scenario, if you have the SAP S/4HANA on-prem and you have it version 22.00 or like 21, at least like SP01. Then to get the BRIM, you need to only activate few best practices items. With the 2022, you like only need to check it. For example, if you are plan to implement S/4HANA or you are plan to upgrade to S/4HANA, just choose 2022, mark best practice item for the BRIM solution, and it will be already there when you have it installed. Another scenario, it's a BRIM hybrid scenario, and I believe will be the case for everybody who already has their landscape with SAP, already has a SAP S/4HANA in their landscape, but want to try this subscription billing and do not plan to upgrade in the nearest future. It could be a case because the upgrade takes a lot of the efforts and time. So for this, you will need SAP S/4HANA, you need the subscription billing and few more things from the BTP, which we will like stop on this slide. So for the hybrid solution, and if you already have the S/4HANA, you need the S/4HANA obviously, and you need have a cloud connector, you need to have a SAP cloud integration and some subscription billing service in your BTP account. And if you want to implement a subscription billing synchronization, like some parts of like needs to be sent from the S/4HANA to the subscription billing and back, if you plan to do this on the shadow, you need to have only SAP cloud integration. But if you plan to do this, for example, based on the events appeared in your S/4HANA, then you need to have a SAP event mesh. What kind of things you need to have in mind? Your S/4HANA is supposed to be 1709 at least. As I said, if you have 2022, you just need to you just need to follow the best practice guide. You just need to activate the best practices for the BRIM solution. Next things that you need to keep in mind is that make sure that your SOA manager configuration is consistent, because it can give you a hard time during the implementation and during the test of the solution. And make sure is that your data replication framework is in place, configure it, and healthy. Your cloud connector must be, of course, installed and configure it. And all the BTP subaccounts supposed to be accessible from your cloud connector. Why it's plural? Why it's not like only one BTP account? SAP has a different subscription types, and you can have, for example, SAP Cloud integration, our next component, as a pay-as-you-go subscription. So you just pay only for this, for what you or like what would you use and how much you use. But subscription billing will be provided like probably in the separate account, or like with in the same account as SAP Cloud integration, but it will be like not as pay as you go. So you can have it 2 sub-accounts, 3 sub-accounts. It could be like different integrations. A lot of the customers has this kind of setup, so don't worry, it could be easily connected. Just as I said, make sure that your cloud connector can connect to each BTP sub-account. Subscription billing. After you will receive it, after you will purchase it and get the BTP account with subscription billing itself. So make sure that the entity subscription billing and subscription billing API assign it. Just check, and I believe like you don't need anything else. SAP event mesh. As I said, it's optional. It's optional. You don't need to have it. It probably will need it for convergent invoicing. But if you plan to make synchronization of your data between your S/4HANA and subscription billing based on the events, for example, you want to do this like you want to have it immediately in subscription billing after you like receive some, I don't know, customer, like after you enter some customer or receive some billing. So you will need SAP event mesh. It easily configured. It could be easily implemented. So just don't worry, but choose like what you need. And the SAP Cloud integration. For this, you will need only the integration suite inside of your BTP account, and probably that's it, like nothing else. And regarding the event mesh and subscription billing, there is only one thing that mentioned in the configuration guide, so just don't worry, don't lose it. That event mesh and subscription billing supposed to be in the same BTP global account. Global means like not in the one sub account, not in the same sub account, but the global only. This is probably everything like what you need to keep in mind, and you easily can take this, for example, slide and give it to your BTP responsible to your basis team, and so they will just make some checkups like do you have everything you need, and implement it. So the next good news here is that subscription billing, from my personal point of view, it's one of the best described, has one of the best described documentation for implementation. You just need to go to the SAP help portal. There are 2 guides. First, it's in the implementation section, SAP BTP configuration guide. So there is a steps for the to configure subscription billing. There is a steps to configure your roles and user authorization, API configuration, and event mesh. As I said, it's optional, but it's there. Really easy, step by step. There are screenshot and data you need to enter. Like you can just follow this guide and just trust me, like should be no mistakes. And the second option, the second guide you need to have, it's integration guide. So there is a configuration of subcloud connector, integration flows configuration, and SOA manager and web services configuration. And that's it. Like really, it's independent what kind of landscape you have. You can just follow the integration guide. There is different section for the cloud connection, for the cloud version of S4HANA, for the different version of S4HANA, and just choose the right section, follow the steps, and if you have any problem, just call EPAM. And that's it from my side. Thank you very much. We can go to the question and answer section.
So, thank you. We have some questions. So, the first question is: are there any certifications for SAP BRIM consultants?
Yeah, yeah. The SAP provide one of them, so it's called C_BRSOM. Yeah, so this is a certification for particularly billing and revenue innovation management. So answer is yes.
Perfect, thank you. Next question is: does or will SAP use it for the vendor management themselves?
Uh, I'm not sure because if you talk about the vendor management, so SAP have the completely different solutions here. So for example, we can talk about the Ariba here. So Ariba is can use for the uh, vendor as a vendor management system. Yeah. So but I'm not sure that it makes first of all, I'm not sure that it makes sense. Yeah, because the BRIM it's a particular solution where we can run our customer and our sales flow. Yeah, so it is a solution specially designed for the running of the sales flow, especially very digitalized sales flow what we have right now. So from the vendor management perspective, I think it just makes no sense to combine this solution with other solutions provided by SAP for the vendors management. Yeah. So I don't think so.
Mhm. Thank you. And the next question: what are the main competitors of SAP BRIM among the existing revenue and billing management solutions? What is the key benefit of SAP BRIM making it so special?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so yeah, I know that Oracle provide product. It's called NetSuite. So, but to be honest with you, I'm not so familiar with the competitor's solution. So, but I can say that in general, so if you talk about the SAP solutions, SAP solution, we always have the benefits and we have the advantage of the integration with all other SAP solutions. Yes, Aleksandra mentioned, so the integration between the BRIM solution and the finance solution, and integration between BRIM and the third-party system provided the consumption data, it's very native and clear. Yeah, so that's why that's here. It's definitely advantage of the SAP solutions here because it's really easily integrated with other SAP solutions.
Perfect. So, while you are generating new questions to have a chance to bid for our cool prize, we encourage you to join our community on other social networks: Facebook, Telegram, LinkedIn, and of course, we're community platform via the link in the chat. By the way, don't miss the registration for our upcoming SAP Tech Talk: Advanced Decision Making in SAP Success Factors with SAP BTP. The registration link is available in the meeting chat. So let me check if we have any other questions. So I see this is it for now. And I'd like to ask you to choose the winner of our prize drawing.
Okay, so I guess we should choose the most challenging one. Yeah, so the question related to the competitors. I guess was really nice. Yeah.
Fantastic. So congratulations, and we'd like to the author of this question to contact us regarding the prize. And I think that's it for today. If there are no questions anymore, then I'd like to thank our speakers for the interesting speech. And as already mentioned, today's webinar recording will be posted on our YouTube channel. The links to the recording will be sent separately. Colleagues, thank you very much again for your participation and have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
joining. Bye bye.